In just a minute, you'll be able to hear from our fabulous keynote speaker, Geeta Rao Gupta, and from our board chair, Mike McGavick. But right now, I have the honor to introduce to you one of my colleagues. If you really want to know how we work, how Landesa delivers land rights and changes lives, you need to spend a day in the field with Gracie. Gracie is Landesa's state director in the state of West Bengal, India. Gracie embodies everything we're about. She's tenacious. She's resourceful. She's humble. She ventures into remote villages to interview the poor and the landless about their needs. She represents them in the corridors of power, talking to senior government officials about what they can do to change laws and programs and policies that provide benefits to the poor. Gracie puts these pieces of the puzzle together to help governments do better, so their people can do better. Ladies and gentlemen, Gracie Kutimidi.
Greetings. Namaskar. Many of you probably think that land rights work is horribly difficult and that it takes decades to help people and that working with governments is a messy business. And I have to admit that sometimes all of that is true. But sometimes it is as simple as drawing two straight lines on a piece of paper. I'll now tell you about a revolution Landesa started last year in West Bengal, India, by simply adding a second blank line on a piece of paper. The government of West Bengal has anti-poverty programs, and that includes provision of small land plots to landless families. For years, it has been the case that all these pattas or land titles which the government handed out to landless families through these programs contained only one single line to put the name of the owner. And almost always it has been reserved for the head of the household. And almost always this has meant the man. And no one gave much thought about it. Until in our research and our fieldwork, we noticed that women whose names were not on the land titles were being evicted when their husbands died, or even when the wife and husband had a quarrel. Often the in-laws claim to property and show no mercy to the women or her children. Our research also showed that when men and women both were listed on the title, it increased women's bargaining power in the household. It also gave women more power to secure and ensure that profits from any home business or agriculture on this plot of lands went towards meeting their children's needs, ensuring that they are well fed and attend schools. So with this research, as with all our research, we approached our partners, the Land and Land Reforms Department of West Bengal suggesting adding a simple line to the format of the patta document. This involved a lot of back and forth work. We moved from offices to offices explaining that all we are suggesting is a small change of adding one more line in the format of the title deed, and how that small change can actually bring great changes within the family, and how the government of West Bengal can actually reach out to all the women in the state. They did some more research, advised, and consulted, but ultimately they agreed. The government issued a revised patta with two prominent, equally prominent lines on the format to write the names of the wife and the husband who will own the plot of land, and that too with the wife's name first and then the husband's. Again, both wife and husband have to sign at the end of the document. And with this extra line on the patta, we have forever changed the lives of the communities who receive such lands. A change that is generational, durable, and structural. I don't think it is too much to say that the future of India, in part, will be determined by these women whose names are now on this new line. I'll tell you, it affected Suchitra and Tulsi, who you met in the earlier film. While I was visiting Suchitra in her small house made of bamboo that she built after she and her husband or their daughter moved to the new plot, she told me that having these two lines on the title deed doubles the strength of the family. Thanks to this extra line on the title, Suchitra and her husband both can apply for loans for improving their land or to start a new business. They both have security. Their daughter Tulsi does too. Once at the risk of becoming a child bride, Tulsi now holds ownership to this land. She can inherit the land. Her mother shared with me the ease with which their family now thinks about their daughter's future, including a fallback to the home in case she is in trouble in future life. Now, some of you may wonder what is the relationship between child marriage and land, and I will explain that now. This is part of our work funded by the Nike Foundation. In India, the parents of girls have to pay a handsome dowry to the groom's family in order to arrange a marriage. If they are poor and landless, the parents would prefer to often get their daughters married at an earlier age because dowries are eliminated or reduced for very young girls. Alternatively, the parents would send their daughters off to the city to earn for the family, and indirectly that means earning their own dowry. Both options make the girl's education cut short, and both these options put the girl at the risk for exploitation. So, our program in West Bengal involves providing poor landless families who have daughters with small plots of land, ensuring that both the parents are listed on the land title, and we hope that all the children, including girls, will be listed as co-inheritors of their familial land. We are also engaging with the entire community in conversations about the relationship between land, dowry, poverty, and early marriage. And you can see the results already. Look at Tulsi. For 12 years, she had been living on 2 meals a day, just 2 meals with rice and dal. And she had to go without food when her father went away looking for work and her mother had no money. But now, not only can she eat vegetables and eggs from her garden on a regular basis, but also her parents can afford to keep her in the school. Her neighbor Poonam, whom you will meet on another video on our website, is planning to become a doctor. It's like this throughout the village. Little kids with big dreams, thanks to small plots. And so it was no surprise to me that all the 36 families of this village decided to name their village as Shantinagar, meaning village of peace. And it is, in fact, a place of peace and prosperity now. It's a wonderful place where, with great hope, these families are industriously building their future, their children's future, without any fear of the future. All this from land and a pair of simple blank lines on a piece of paper.